If you were to ask me who are my favourite companies in the RC hobby, HGLRC would be very close to the top, and today I'm going to be taking a look at their plug and fly Hornet 120. It is a brushless micro in the 2.5 inch category, but there's a problem. I already have a favourite in this category, and that is the Mini Fight. I can't help but notice though that when I look at the Hornet 120 on paper, it outspecs the Mini Fight in almost every component except for the ESCs. This ESC board is a 13 amp continuous and 20 amp burst, whereas this guy is a 28 amp ESC board. Other than that, the Hornet 120 beats it out in everything else. If we look at the weight, this guy with its propellers on and a receiver, it weighs 89 grams. This guy, 95, which isn't a huge difference, but it is when we look at the motors. You see, they are both an 1106 motor, but this one has 6000 kV, this one 5500 kV, so with the same 3-inch prop on there, this guy has got to be the fastest if that kV number is correct. And if we look at the rest of this model, we have got the HGLRC stack in here. So HGLRC are probably more known for their components than their RTF models actually. They only have a couple of RTF models at the making of this video. And I think I've got about 9 of these stacks, and they've all been bulletproof, whether it's in a build myself or an RTF. And I know if I receive a model and it's got a HGLRC stack in it, then it's going to be good. You know, it's difficult to pick apart. So as I say, 4-in-1 BL S D-Shot 600 capable ESCs. We've got an F4 flight controller in here, which has Betaflight on-screen display. This guy is an F3. And then we have the VTX. This time we have got smart audio. It's a 48 channel switching VTX, and it switches from 25 milliwatt all the way up to 350 milliwatt. This guy is switching, and I made a video as well where you can add smart audio. So I think it's Tramp on this one, and yeah, you have to modify it a little bit, but it can be added. This guy already has it set up here. So we've got a sleeve dipole antenna here, and it's connected on a micro UFL, and they've got a little LED here as well which tells you your channels, and a little tiny button that is missing on this guy. It's really tricky though, because sometimes it may have the best spec, but you know, if we have quality control issues, for example, I know when these guys were first sent out there was a problem with the camera vibrating, the lens and stuff, and I didn't have any problems with this one whatsoever. I also prefer the styling of this one. I like this flat top here. It's more of a freestyle vibe to it, whereas this one, you know, everything is open. The camera is better protected on this one, I should say, but it'd be easier to add a camera or maybe even put your battery on the top of this one. So as I say, specifications aren't everything, but you know, they are such a similar model. We've got an LED board here, and we've got a buzzer as well, XT30. It is really difficult to pick between these two. So this one came with a silicon mat already installed on it, and yes, we have a HGLRC CCD camera up there as well. I had to do pretty much a full setup on this guy. It has got stock PIDs, which isn't going to suit a micro. They are both a 3S model, by the way, as well. I wouldn't really recommend a 4S on this. And then if we take a look at the other stuff that you get in the package, so we got loads of screws, loads of stickers, and it looks like we have got, how many sets? We got 1, 2, 3, 4. So we got 1 set and then 2 spare propellers. More propellers would have been nice, I think, and you know, comes in this little box as well. Now, one thing that I'm not too keen on with HGLRC is they don't seem to provide a receiver or a receiver option. We just have these flailing cables up the top here, and they don't tell you really what the cables are either. You do get given a manual. So this is the manual here. It's just a single page. It tells you your frequency chart, and it also gives you a schematic, but it's not too clear, and we don't have any Betaflight setup or anything like that. So I'll talk you through the colours here. So starting off with the green, this is for ppm, and then the blue is DSM to DSMX. We have a spare pad there which is 3 volt. I thought it was interesting that they have hooked up DSMX here but not the 3 volt, because a lot of the DSM to DSMX receivers run off 3 volt, but there you go. The yellow is S-bus, and then we've got the ground and the 5 volt as well. So you can just about access these solder pads from the side, so I'll be removing all of these because I only need S-bus. I'm going to be adding a XM plus, but yeah, I don't like all of these wires just flailing out of the top. And it might be tricky to fit a receiver in here as well. I'm going to have to figure out how to do that. So this model does not come with a battery. I'm going to be using a 550 milliamp GNB 3S battery. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to have a quick burst with the mini fight so that I can compare the punch. It's going to struggle to make me smile even more than that. That is crazy. These punch outs never look as great on the camera because of the wide angle, but in person, yeah, it's really quite a shock for the eyes. The eyes can't move quick enough. But anyways, yeah, let's check out the difference with the Hornet. Alrighty, this is the first flight with the Hornet. So, just make sure everything is okay. And let's try a punch with this one. Yeah, just as powerful. I think I'm hearing a tiny vibration on the throttle. I think that might be the props. You hear it there? Not sure how that's gonna manifest in the flight, but the mini fight was not doing that. The punch is still ridiculous though. Feels about the same though. This is gonna be a fun comparison, isn't it? Yeah. Still a bonkers punch, but there's some sort of vibration there in the middle. Not too sure about. Can you hear that there? Sounds like the props are catching, but there's nothing for it to catch on. To see if it affects the FPVing. Look at this, we got some sun. It's actually 22 degrees out here today. First day without wellies. Yeah, I've given it a very similar tune to the mini fight. I don't think the stock tune would be any good. But yeah, just a little vibration there. I mean, it might not affect how it flies, and if not, it's not a problem. Hear it there, a little bite. Okay, let's bring it in and make sure there's nothing contacting with the props. Yes, do you know what I think it is? I think it's the props catching at the front of the frame. Yeah, I just heard the props catch. Interesting, so might need to clip the props down, but that's where that noise is coming from. It's the initial throttle, and I guess it's flexing the props into the frame. So there you go. Okay, first of all, let's go for a blast with the mini fight. Now, straight away I'm noticing a little bit of noise on the mini fight that wasn't there originally. So that's something important to note. This is just 25 milliwatt, but that's a lot of noise. Okay, let's see if I can do a speed run, but I'm not sure it's going to pick it up because this thing is so tiny, but it'll at least give me a feel for it. Don't know whether it's the antenna that is a bit loose on the Mini Fight. It's not always been like that. Certainly packs a punch though. Let me just get a few of these in then, just to make sure I can get a reading. Yeah, quite a lot of noise showing up there. It's got the power though. So it looks like the VTX, the weakest point perhaps on the Mini Fight. Again, I'll reiterate, wasn't there originally. Could be something I've done, or could be something that's developed. Right, that's given me enough information, I think, so let's get and try the Hornet next. Okay, and now the Hornet. Actually, still seeing little ripples in the video, but nothing too bad. Quite unusual for HGLRC to have noise in the video. Let's try the speed. They feel exactly the same to me, so pretty difficult to tell really. I can hear those motors catching. Yeah, tune's not too bad. Little bit of bounce there. Not too bad on the eye. But surprising to see a flicker of noise. I do not seem to be having any vibration problems, so that's good. Yeah, definitely tiny ripple of noise. Nothing I would complain about too much. So, which do I think is the best? I was dreading this. I don't know. I think you would have a good experience with both of them, honestly. I actually am preferring the 3-inch these days. I think I'm getting a little bit of vibration there. Not much though. I could put that down to the vibration of the copter in general, really. I like both of them. I think, just as I said at the start, the components are higher spec on the Hornet. I don't think I like the frame as much. I can hear those props catching, so I think it's all down to the frame, really. I think I prefer the Mini Fight's frame, and I prefer the components in this, and I guess that is my conclusion. They both feel very similar in power. I wouldn't be surprised if the Hornet was a little bit faster. I think I got the camera angle a little bit higher up as well, which, you know, that will make a difference. Yeah, I think this is the first ripple of noise I've seen on a HGLRC model, which is strange, really, because the 3-inch model has no noise. This has a little bit of noise. My battery has died, so I'll leave it there. So I'll put a link in the description if you wish to get one, and as always, thanks so much for watching. Please continue to subscribe. Cheers.